Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about the most anticipated TV shows of 2024. I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to watch until the end. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. True Detective Night Country. As a fan of True Detective, I have to admit that I've always been curious about what the series might look like if a season was told in a woman's voice and from a woman's point of view. Thanks to True Detective Night Country, viewers and fans of the series no longer have to imagine that because it has become a reality. The latest installment of this crime anthology, written and directed by Issa Lopez, who is also the showrunner and an executive producer, captures a mood and atmosphere teetering on the edge of supernatural and horror. Detectives Liz Danvers and Evangeline Navarro, complex women with a complicated shared history, have to put aside their issues with each other if they're going to work together to find answers as to why the team of men operating the Arctic Research Station in Ennis, Alaska vanished without a trace. But as often is the case, past history doesn't stay buried and secrets don't stay secret for long. And when connections between the disappearance of the men and the murder of a local indigenous activist start to reveal themselves, Danvers and Navarro find themselves confronting their own demons. Masters of the Air. Masters of the Air is an upcoming Apple TV Plus miniseries that follows the airmen of the 100th Bomb Group during World War II. The miniseries will craft a complex tale of brotherhood and kinship among the young pilots who risked their lives in air combat missions against Hitler's army. Having been in development since 2012, and with filming officially beginning almost 9 years later in 2021, it is understandable why anticipation for Masters of the Air is quite high. Beyond the astounding wait time, the series is intended to be a companion story to Band of Brothers and the Pacific, two of HBO's most notable and acclaimed miniseries. Masters of the Air also has the same producers in Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, and Gary Goetzman. However, it's not only the powerhouses behind the screen that drum up excitement for the show's January 26 release date. In the time since production began, several of its stars have gone on to become some of the hottest tickets in the entertainment industry at the moment. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. One of the most interesting prospects of a Mr. and Mrs. Smith TV series is that it will have 8 episodes for the characters to get to know each other. From co-creators Donald Glover and Francesca Sloan, the Prime Video original series follows 2 lonely strangers known as John and Jane Smith, who are paired together by a mysterious spy agency to complete high-risk missions as a married couple, traveling the world but never truly knowing who the other is. Initially reluctant to share tidbits about themselves, the more they have to work together and rely on each other to finish their tasks and stay alive, the more complicated things become when they start to really care and realize those feelings could change their priorities. Due to the nature of the series, a reimagining of the 2005 movie starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, it feels like it's only a matter of time until something goes wrong and the whole charade blows up in their faces. Abbott Elementary Season 3. In case you were living under a middle school desk, the best sitcom to come out of primetime in recent years is without a doubt Abbott Elementary. Following the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, the Emmy-winning workplace comedy by Quinta Brunson is making its highly anticipated return to ABC for Season 3 in 2024, and the critically acclaimed series has everyone's attention. Between the show dominating trending topics and garnering critical acclaim with award accolades, the sitcom's sweeping success boils down to its smart, engaging storytelling and wonderful ensemble cast. With Season 2 of Abbott Elementary elevating the sitcom standard thanks to its charming blend of sharp writing and social commentary, plenty of twists opened up the doors for what Season 3 could bring audiences. As we left the series, Janine and Gregory shared their feelings for each other after a slow burn romance that has been a long time coming. Halo Season 2. The anticipation following the stunning finale of Halo Season 1 comes to an end this February when the show returns for Season 2. Fans will find out if Master Chief John 117 is still really himself, or if artificial intelligence Cortana is still inhabiting his body, and will also find out how this affects his friendships, since to say he's no longer himself is something of an understatement. While details on the new season are still sparse, fans can also expect John 117 to head out on the search for the Halo, a mega weapon that could make or break humanity's future, while the terrifying Covenant prepares to attack. So many mysteries left hanging, it's a relief the season premieres early in the year. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Making a live-action adaptation of a beloved animated series is a thankless task, but if anyone is going to rise to it, it's going to be Netflix. Just look at 2023's One Piece adaptation. 2024 will bring us Avatar: The Last Airbender, based on the Nickelodeon series by Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. Follows Aang, the titular airbender, freed from a block of ice after 100 years by siblings Katara and Sokka. The three head out on an adventure to help Aang master control of all the elements in order to defeat the Fire Nation, Shogun, led by Fire Lord Ozai, whose son Zuko is in hot pursuit accompanied by his uncle Iroh. The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live. The Walking Dead. I wish I knew how to quit you. Having become Collider's resident expert on the increasingly expansive zombie series, the experience of watching both the original show and the various spin-offs has been a fascinating one. The 11th and final season of the main run shambled to an overdue end in 2022 with a finale that showed this was merely the start of a new beginning. Since then, there has been the start of The Walking Dead: Dead City, which was not bad despite its bizarre pairing up of characters, and The Walking Dead: Daryl Dixon, which proved to be the best the series has been in quite a while. That has still all been building to something more. That more is The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, which brings back Rick Grimes and Michonne for their own spin-off. To say that is the most promising of all the new incarnations of the series would be an understatement, as setting a story focused around the world's strongest characters feels like it may finally be getting things truly back to basics. Shogun. There is no new series that has gotten me more hyped than Shogun, and, considering how 2024 is unfortunately rather lacking for new shows that aren't somehow related to existing ones, it should absolutely be on your radar too. When you add in the fact that it has the always great Hiroyuki Sanada at the forefront of a solid ensemble cast, it already looks like it's shaping up to be something quite interesting. Transporting us back to 17th century feudal Japan, which is on the brink of a looming civil war, Shogun, based on the novel by the late James Clavell, looks at all the various players in this upcoming struggle for power. It is the type of potential epic that, based on the initial trailer, already looks great and feels alive even as its characters find themselves on the edge of peril. There is much that can go wrong with this type of series, as many such stories have bitten off more than they can chew, but we're optimistic based on what we've seen so far. Three-Body Problem. Lou Sixon's sci-fi bestseller is just the first in a trilogy of novels revolving around humanity's encounter with aliens, but the story dives much deeper beyond your average sci-fi adventure. The story follows Yi Wenji, a scientist who has been conscripted into the military and sent to a military base where she is working on communicating with extraterrestrials. Three-Body Problem is created by David Benioff, D.B. Weiss, and Alexander Wu. You'll of course know Benioff and Weiss from their work on Game of Thrones, while Wu is best known for his writing on True Blood and as a co-creator for the second season of The Terror. For lovers of hard sci-fi, this series is reminiscent of Isaac Asimov's Foundation series as it jumps back and forward through time, exploring the repercussions of humanity's decisions while also interweaving into the story complicated physics and mathematical theory. Fallout. With shows like The Witcher, Halo, and this year's The Last of Us, video game stories have finally found a great outlet for adaptation. But while these shows have brought to life extensive, massive worlds full of opportunities and possibilities, none are as sprawling and ambitious as the Fallout series. Created in 1997, the Fallout game series follows a post-apocalyptic world as the remaining survivors leave their shelters and find themselves in what remains, known as the Wasteland. Fallout gave the player freedom to tell their story the way they wanted to, a game that allowed the player to become the hero or villain of their own story, where they could either make mankind better, or, hell, blow up another bomb, if they want to. Prime Video's adaptation of this series seems to be in good hands, however, as the project has been created by Geneva Robertson Dworet and Graham Wagner, with the show's first 3 episodes directed by Westworld co-creator Jonathan Nolan. Daredevil Born Again. While Marvel seems to be pulling back on the amount of TV content they're putting out, fans couldn't be more excited for one of the few set to premiere in 2024, Daredevil Born Again, a continuation of the story of Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, a blind lawyer by day and superhero by night. While we briefly saw Matt in both Spider-Man No Way Home and She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Born Again will mark the first time Matt's story has been properly explored since the cancellation of the Netflix Daredevil series in 2018. The series is expected to continue on from events established in Echo, also premiering in 2024, as Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are set to reprise their roles as the Devil of Hell's Kitchen and the Kingpin in both series, as well as Born Again featuring the return of John Bernthal's Frank Castle, last seen in the second season of The Punisher. House of the Dragon Season 2. Those of us who found ourselves burned by the final season of a certain show might have been reluctant to embrace another spin-off set in the world George R.R. Martin built, but House of the Dragon premiered with just enough of what we love about its predecessor to silence every naysayer and then some. Taking us back in time to a realm ruled over by the infamous Targaryen family doesn't just allow us to have a better understanding of the house that ultimately created Daenerys herself, It also gives us new women to become conflicted about and engrossed by, from Rhaenyra's ascent to power to Alicent's quiet manipulations to ensure that her children will ultimately rule over the Seven Kingdoms. The tension within the family, which has been brewing over the span of years depicted in the series, finally reached a point of no return in Season 1, when Alicent's son Aemond and his dragon Vhagar murder Rhaenyra's son Lucerys and his dragon Arax.